Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's working late tonight, and this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back. And happy Thursday. We're past hump day. Tomorrow's Friday. If you work 9 to 5, maybe you feel it. Certainly in other jobs too. It's not going to be as hot this weekend though, so I'm thrilled. So today we're going to have a little story time. And it's kind of I was looking at our numbers, honestly. I was looking at our averages for views, and that cigarette just won't go out, excuse me. For views, are they up, are they down? Subs, up, down, all that kind of stuff. And our channel's on the smaller side, certainly, compared to even the channels that, like, lumped up with us. We are certainly not in the reaction community, but we do a review and a reaction. So, how did we find ourselves doing Chantal once a week, Mondays with Mark, other kitschy stuff? Why was I dressed like Cher on the Halloween episode? All sorts of questions like that. So when the channel first started, it was 2017, 18, I believe. I want to say 17. And I had once previously put up a YouTube video. I forget the name of the account. It was probably my first brave attempt to try to become viral. So Mark and I filmed like a 3-minute video and I put it up. But when it started out, the channel's name was Smoke Yourself Thin. Some of you know all these bits and pieces. I'm just going to try to frame it together because I never thought I'd be even a part-time YouTuber. So when it started out, it was a weight loss channel for me, and it was called Smoke Yourself Thin, and I lifted that from Troy McClure from The Simpsons. And it was a diet channel with a smack of kind of, common sense, I would like to think, if such thing can happen during a food haul or anything like that. So I was just recording that. I was putting out a video, I think, once a week, and I was tracking my weight from, 230 to 218. So after losing, I was losing like 6 pounds at a month. It was like, it gets harder when you're older. So that was the channel, and I would keep people abreast of updates, and I did a couple videos on loose skin, and things weight-related, because that was all I was on YouTube for. Maybe tell a story or two, or share some perspective, because I also have a history with eating disorders. So want to lose weight, want to, get healthy and eat good food, but when you're prone to extremes, like some of us are, you take it too far. And dieting for me and that kind of thing has always been much less about health, It was much more about appearance for me. If I look okay on the outside, I don't give a crap if the inside is black, brown, and swollen yellow. As long as I look okay. That was my 20-year-old self. We just turned 40. Okay, so that's a little bit... Things look a little different. All of a sudden, a mole looks different, and you run to the doctor. So when the channel started, it was me, and then it was me and Mark. Mark came in about a year later. Mark initially came in under Mondays with Mark. The channel is pretty much all mine, and he came in for maybe a cameo or two. He was very shy and guarded when the channel started. He also had a ponytail when he came on, I think. And we would talk about different kinds of things. Now, Mark talked a little about weight, but we ended up, when he came onto the channel, I only kept that last name, Smoke Yourself Thin, for like maybe 2 weeks. And then it turned into Smokey Steve. And then when there was Mondays with Mark, it became Smokey Steve and Mark, one word. And that's when he joined. Channels grow slow, sometimes. I follow a lot of people who got big fast, but we've been growing slowly but steadily. But in the beginning, you're putting the work in for a video that you think 100,000 people might see. And it turns out to be 100. I had this idea that I was going to put out something real deep and vulnerable and that would reach people and it would break the fourth wall. So I made a video of that sort, 100 views. And that 100 views took 4 months to get. The new kid on the block trying to fit in. I didn't know what reactors were. I didn't know what the point of watching someone eat a lot was, which is how I fell ass backwards into Chantal. So Mark's on the channel, give it 2 years, maybe a little more, and it was right around fall, so I think that's when we did our first Vlogmas. We did Vlogtober a couple times too. Now what Mark brought to the channel was something very different than me. Mine were more heady discussions, personal anecdotes that are hopefully you can glean a lesson from, even if I didn't at the time. So the stories were a little bit different. Mark comes in and it becomes more about his hobbies too. So now it's not just chain smoking and sarcasm, which is my hobbies. And it's going to be more stuff he's interested in. So then came the garden. Started small, and then, he was very kind of timid at first. He wasn't really comfortable. He did fine, but he wasn't comfortable on camera. I could kind of tell. So we worked slowly. We did videos together. And when we started to fall into sort of a schedule of things, and I started watching Chantal for a little while, because I watched her and I thought, God, I have opinions. But we didn't want to be a review or reaction channel on the whole, which is probably why we can skirt some of the shit that goes on within that community. But when you first discover it, it's so big. Like when I started thinking, wow, there's all these bigger channels on YouTube, 100,000, 500,000, and they're no more talented than the next person. They just put themselves out there. They have sometimes more nerve than talent, if you know what I mean. I'm sure you know exactly who I'm talking about too. So they're brave enough to get up there, but so we decided when we had a schedule, we were going to film every day, and we filmed every day. The only time we took a break was when I was in the psych ward because I needed a tune-up, and we didn't film for like a day or two. And Mark hadn't done a lot of filming at that point, so he had his phone. I had always handled the uploading and everything else, and he didn't. And he was like, oh. So there's a few days of videos, February of 2020, where Mark's doing it. The thumbnails are, screen pulls and everything like that. So I think after that, having him get on camera and speak himself about what was happening to me at the time, it gets it a little more real, keeps it a little more close. And as the channel went on, the story times and the anecdotes got a little more personal that I would tell. Me Too, I had shared my experience as part of Me Too, as far as assault and things like that. Real, light topic. We'll keep it moving. So there was different topics about headier things, about how I used to have an eating disorder. And then Mark got kind of into it. And on Mondays with Mark, you would have maybe a couple of things he'd be interested in, like a craft or a recipe or what have you. And share maybe a little bit about himself. If you listen close, Mark talks a lot. But if you're listening for facts or clues or there's nothing there. I can't read his poker face at all. He could be bleeding out his ears, but he would just clean them up and come on camera. He's just that kind of worker, that kind of trooper, I have an earache. I want to sleep for a week because I'm a baby about that stuff. So knowing that Mark and I are, doing a channel together and that kind of thing, we each had different ideas about what kind of channel, what kind of videos. Rather than disagree, we just did them all. One person would give a suggestion for a video and we'd make it right then. Not even a handful of people. We were just getting subs one by one. And it kept ticking up and ticking up and ticking up. We haven't had a huge slide in subs. And for us, huge, we're just under 6,000 subs. For us, huge would be like lose 100 in a day or something like that. So we've continued to stay steady and grow, which is fine because it's part-time pretty much for Mark and I to do this kind of work. You work 9 to 5 and then entrepreneur's hours are like 5 to 9. Not that I'm an entrepreneur, but that's when the second gig, everyone's hustling. Everyone's got to hustle. Everyone has 3 jobs. It's not as important to me. And yet it's serious enough to me that I want to keep the videos up, obviously, like a few a week. When we switched from 7 days a week, and I was burnt the hell out, and we both were, we dialed it back to 5. So sometime usually on Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe Thursday, you would actually get some time where we wouldn't have anything. But when you're trying to pull an idea out for every day, holy shit, I give credit to anyone who can vlog for a long period of time. We did every day for I think over a year, maybe. I'm not really sure. And it was, you run out of shit to talk about. Certainly, at some point you get to current events because there's nothing else going on. We did keep the chat. I had done a couple live chats on Sundays for our regular stuff. And then Mark came in and joined as well. And we contribute different things, I think, when we're making content. and I wouldn't want to film a video, without him. But we also, we share openly too, even if we're both on the couch. We had a lot of good therapy. So having all that before you start a YouTube channel, I would highly recommend, especially if you're going to dip your toe into, any one of these women of size. So, and what came up with Chantal, so Mondays with Mark came in with Mark. The lives started just not long before he came on with them. He'd come on for a little bit, he'd be in a video for 10 minutes, and then he'd leave and, do that kind of thing. So that took us to our live Sunday. And then Friday has been a couple different things. And we've had segments we tried, and they flopped. We had the Ask It Basket. There was a couple other ones that we had gone through that it didn't stick. It just wasn't something, a lot of views. It wasn't something people seemed to be interested in. It wasn't a chore to make, but sometimes you do good, sometimes you do bad as far as views. If anyone's watching, it's usually good. And a lot of the feedback we get, which is very appreciated, is that people feel a certain kind of way after they watch the channel. Often it's better. I'm sure we're making somebody puke, but by and large, the people who do comment say that that's how they feel about it. They feel like there's Mark and I having a discussion with them. That wasn't so much there when the channel was just me. I was nervous too. I kept looking this way instead of that way. I still do it because I don't remember where the camera is. So that brings us up to almost present day. Now, where the channel is, we have Sunday. I mean, we just took 2 weeks off because we moved. So, but for the prior 2 years, we were pretty good with a schedule. So even though we had a lull, I wouldn't necessarily say it was blown off. It was just other things were more important at the time than making a video about Chantal. I know, what could be more important? Well, what could be funnier, really? I'm trying to save all that up till Saturday. I've been increasingly disgusted this week with the content she put out. Just saying. Now, why did I talk about Foodie Beauty? Where the hell did that come from? Because we aren't a reaction channel, so how did I pluck her out of thin air? I started watching her channel pretty much as soon as we got on YouTube, because I didn't search a whole lot of people until I was searching for us, and I was searching for the communities we're kind of close to. And it's any new channel, it's a toss-up. If you pick Amberlynn Reed or Foodie Beauty, your views will go up because people like other circles of gossip. They like other opinions. Some people just like bullshit and fucking with people's lives. That's not really how I roll. So watching the two of them, I landed on Foodie Beauty and decided I had some thoughts, because at the time she was sharing about how she had an eating disorder, which I don't disagree with. But I had some insight because I had lived experience with eating disorder, substance abuse, and a lot of the things that she has going on that she's very matter-of-fact about were things that I took to an extreme that almost killed me. So I look at her like, it's not going to be nice. And even Coffee Talk has changed a couple different times. Initially, I would just report on the videos. They weren't related. It was a series of mukbangs. There was no connection. There was no thread of her love life between all of it. She certainly didn't talk about it, if there was. And started following her and watching her, and I would like her, not like her, not like her. And then things started kicking up. I start to find out a thing or two with evidence about how she's maybe not the kindest person. Maybe just a touch self-centered. Just a little, and with a fragile ego, and can't do reactions of her own. She just makes faces and looks upset. If that's all she's seeing and hearing when any of us talk about her, then no wonder she thinks nothing's wrong with her, you know. Okay. So where does that leave us now? Well, right now we moved. We're in the new place. There will be new backgrounds here. This is Fernando. For anybody who doesn't know, we're replanting Fernando. He has a big pot he's going to go in because he can't get any bigger. And we're home different times now. Like, I'm filming now because he'll be home later and he can do the editing, but I can get this done earlier. Filming ahead a little bit. Sometimes what we'll do now is film maybe a day or two ahead. And you'll notice we don't say happy day. We're like, hello, everyone. We just kind of gloss over it. So there's no confusion for us about when the video was made or when it was going to come out. So, I guess that's all she wrote. When we were monetized, I was thrilled. I was thrilled. Now, we didn't get a check for like 2-3 months, but it was like some sort of benchmark to hit. And at the time, I don't know if the rules have changed, but the time that we crossed over, you needed 1,000 subs and 4,000 viewing hours in place so that you could become monetized. The 4,000 hours came quick when we started producing videos every day. They don't even have to be good. Not even that many people have to watch, but just has to stack up on that. And then the 1,000 subs took forever. It took forever. I pulled the screenshot from when it was, and it was Christmas. It was right around Christmas we crossed over into the thousands. And then, of course, the next goal, I don't know. Big goal was not to have the channel shrink. I guess 6,000 would be the next benchmark because we've sat between 5,000 and 6,000 for a while. As far as up, down, it'd go up 20, go down 10, go up 30, go down 15. Always up, but, you know, not sharp. You don't look at what am I trying to say? The analytics, the stuff about the video. You can kind of see what worked and what didn't, too. So we have our schedule now. It is summer. I suspect we'll go on a trip somewhere, and we usually take you with us. We have wedding planning going, and that'll be on the channel as well. Not all of it, because we'll be busy having the wedding too. But we'll stay in touch, and like I said, we'll stream some of the wedding. Now, 3 or 4 years ago, would I have streamed my wedding on YouTube? Fuck no. But we have a good community of folks on the channel, and there's always room for more. Don't be shy. Lurkers, you're all cool here. The channel grew, and it got bigger, and it got better, and now we have a wedding coming up, and some of the income from YouTube is helping to pay with that. I can tell you now that Social Blade is not super accurate. What it has projected for our earnings is relatively low compared to what we actually bring in. Now, we're not even bringing in, like, there's no 4 figures that we ever got for one month. It's usually like $400 or $500, sometimes 6. The highest we got was 8, and that was last Christmas, I think, because the ads were just more money. And Mark makes such wholesome content that usually he gets more money per ad than I do, because I run my mouth like I know what I'm talking about. So such is the channel. I hope y'all continue to watch. We really have a good community when you go into the chat rooms and we go live on Sunday. People are so nice. We get trolls or bots or whatever here and there, but by and large, even the trolls come around. We have some folks who are really good at moderating. We got very fortunate we knew them first. As much as you can know anyone online or send mail or whatever, we knew them first and asked them, and they were like, oh yeah, sure, we would do it. And no one's wrench happy, which is nice. There's no weird power dynamics between all the moderators to be bottom bitch or anything like that. Like, we just all chill. We just all hang out. It's a very nice time on Sundays. It ends the weekend and starts the week really well. Mark has said that, and I agree with it too. So the next time you'll see us, I'm going to say tomorrow, unless there's massive technological failures, we will be tomorrow night. I think we actually have, it might be a haul, it might be an unboxing, not sure. But you'll have to check it out and see. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. I'm aware that this is a little disjointed, but I'm doing the best I can considering. So thank you all for indulging me and watching. I hope you got something out of it. Feel free to comment below if you have any experiences of your own or if you just want to share. I don't leave the comment sections closed like ever. I'll shut down a live to change it and make it private and public, but these never do that. And this looks like a 20-minute video, so I'm not going to put 9 ads in it either, I don't think. Thanks for being here. Please do subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You'll get alerts when we have new videos and when we go live. You can follow us on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Facebook at SmokeySteveSpaceAndMarc. Send us a friend request. Email, contact info is all going to be listed below as well. Thanks again, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, y'all take care of yourselves, you hear? Okay. Bye.